Alright, I'm about to get started. Just hold on for a moment. I forgot to repost the other post live now. Because I've been trying to get some going live post open on okay, sorry. On Blue Sky, since that's my main social media platform, but part of it is because I'm supposed to like tag people there, so let me open Notepad real quick. Sorry, it's completely forgot about that. You know, it's been a little bit scattered brain this morning. Honestly, been scattered brain a lot lately, so okay, we got this going. Hopefully I do seem less scattered brain, because I decided not to do Blender again, just because I'm reaching one of the hard parts, and I know that I'll be needing to apply a bunch of different, or put on a bunch of different tutorials, so. Okay, so we got that started. Oh yes, and I have to get my phone up. But yeah, I was technically supposed to be doing a painting today, so okay, so I got hopefully most of my stuff started. So actually, maybe I should turn down the music slightly. You know, the music might be okay for the most part, but yeah. Okay, so hold on. Hello everybody, it's me, Varia the Breeding Ghost. Thank you for coming to my stream. I'm back to the VTuber model, or the V-Rate model, I mean to say, so if that's what you prefer, I'm sure you're probably cheering now. I'm actually kind of wondering if people like the PNG a bit more or not. I know that's probably not the case, but I noticed that I actually had quite a few more people here last week, despite, you know, how subpar my commentary actually was back then, so. But it's probably more because I'm like making a VTuber model, so it's probably more exciting to people. Sorry, it's the stress of the social media has been getting to me, so sorry if I keep yapping about that specifically, but you know, recently I've been trying to get back into journaling. Specifically, I wanted to get into an art journal. Like I made an art journal, like I went out to and bought one the other day, so you know what, let's just go ahead and get started. Oh god. Oh yeah, because hold on, boop. Yeah, I turned off screen 2, so sorry, I don't know why I call it screen 2, but it's the thing that shows my screen display, so I have a window display that just shows Clip Studio, but yeah, so sorry I keep yapping, but I am specifically planning to work on my ability to draw rib cages and pelvises. So for those who don't know, however, I will be starting off with a skull warm-up, so probably a little bit quick and dirty, but yeah, I feel very sleepy right now, to be honest. I actually felt that way yesterday as well. I've been just really exhausted for some reason, despite like sleeping more than I had before the previous week, but you know, maybe it's because of the poor sleep schedule on the last week that I'm drowsing right now. Who knows? Sorry, it's I could do with speaking a bit more clearly as well. I've been trying to just get better at doing various things. Don't know if I'll be able to keep up with because I have so many plans, but yeah. Okay, so as you can see, I started out with a box right here, and I hope to. And that gives me an idea of the angle and the perspective to apply on this on the skull. So of course I have like one of those like little replica skulls you can get off Amazon. on my right next to me, so I've been using that to help me get better at this, or get better at skulls. So I do think it helps quite a bit to have an actual reference around. So I always kind of I always sort of struggled with drawing bones throughout the years. It's one of those things that's kind of hard to have a great reference for, even despite all the medical texts around. But yeah, admittedly, part of it... Sorry, my voice is like really rough right now. Admittedly, I think part of it might be the... Sorry. Yeah, this is why I'm trying to journal. It's trying to like focus my thoughts in better, or try to explain things better. But yeah, so I think part of it is the lack of a good reference, to be honest. But also, it's skeletons can be very, very complicated when you really try to get into them. Like, it's not that bad to memorize like basic bones and whatnot, but you know, to try to memorize the different parts of the skull and trying to think about each individual like digit or tooth, I should say. I usually don't draw the teeth properly, I'll be honest, but I just don't really have the energy for that kind of thing. Okay. So, okay, and I'm just gonna clean up my skull a little bit, so I'm gonna erase a lot of these sketch lines right here. I'm wondering if I should, yeah, sort of wondering, but wondering on how I can incorporate maybe some skeletons in some future pieces. Like, there is a concept or idea that I had for a while of using the rib cage more for like symbolism. Because I feel like rib cages make a decent like symbol for what's like deep inside us. So, because you know, it kind of protects the heart, and it just gets it gives off kind of that feeling in a way. Sorry, it's like trying to look at my notes. But yeah, so I mentioned an art journal earlier, and what I'm kind of hoping to do with that is think about different symbols and art that I could possibly utilize more, but also try to just figure out my feelings about things. So, you know, it emphasis a bit on the journal part, but try to make more personal stuff as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to be like showing any actual pages of the journal, since it's kind of meant to be one of those private things. Like, I might be willing to show off some of the art that I made, but yeah, I don't really want to show off the, you know, the little written sections, because, you know, it's a journal. Oh, by the way, you can probably see up here, it's clipped off a little bit, I realize, but I'm trying to work with like three different colors here, so, you know, try to keep it a little bit simple. But yeah, just messing around with some warmer colors. I don't normally work with warm colors, to be honest. I was actually trying to create a sketch for a upcoming painting idea. Like, I was supposed to do that yesterday, but I was just so like worn out that day and just out of it in general that I just kind of decided to take it easy. But yeah, technically I should have been drawing yesterday. So, whoops. But But yeah, I can show you guys real quick. It's this is my thumbnail. I have the general idea that I kind of like. So my OC Gallon right here, who's and it's when he was like still a human, because he's actually a fairy right now. He got turned into like a 5-inch fairy, but this is him and his lover kind of dancing alone in an autumn forest. So I thought that'd be a really fun idea to paint, and I try to utilize a lot more orange, like how I tried to utilize a lot more white in that one recent painting I did of the sunflowers. So I was actually thinking about doing Crow and Dove again, or just one piece of Crow like pouring coffee for himself in a forest. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna go through with that one. But yeah, I was kind of feeling like so while I do like the idea of it, I feel like I could probably try to do something a little bit more with the perspective or the composition. So like I was thinking that maybe the camera could be, quote unquote camera could be looking down a bit more. So something just a little bit more dynamic, I guess you could say. And I couldn't quite find any references that I really liked of folk dancing, to be honest. So yeah, I think that's my main issue with trying to start that piece, was just finding a good reference, which I just couldn't find. Okay, but yeah, so right now I'm just gonna this isn't coming out very nice, but I'm just kind of putting down some sorry, lighter sections. So sorry if that like blew out your ears. Oh man, my throat feels just not great today. Okay, yeah, let me just get some of the lighter sections, and then I can actually move on to the actual studying session. So I think I would like to start with working on the rib cage. Yeah, I'll start with that one first, and then we can work on the pelvis a bit. And maybe we can work on some torso. So I don't normally do study sessions on a stream, so this is kind of a first, to be honest. Hopefully it's not too boring. I know I always kind of worry about that kind of thing, but it just feels bad when it kind of yeah, just sorry, I'm not gonna finish that sentence. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I've been getting kind of a little bit too into the grind with social media and streaming. I don't know, like part of me wants to have like some success in this field, but it's just been I've been struggling. It's not that I'm not grateful to the people who do tend to stick around and support. I just having a little bit of a hard time. So I do want to kind of try and disconnect a bit more. I mean, maybe that'll help me. Just try to get my mental shit together, I guess you could say. Okay. So, here on the mandible, I feel like it could probably put it down a bit further, because on my little replica skull, it kind of shows that the mandible has this like little outstretched area. So yeah, I try to capture that a bit and hide a bit more of the mandible right here, because it's technically being blocked by the rest of the skull. So what we have here probably isn't perfect, but actually now I think about it, I kind of missed this little back area of the cranium. So hold on, Just kind of brushing it back in. Okay. Sorry, I swear I'm not sick right now. Or at least I shouldn't be sick. But okay, so I'm just gonna fill in the area surrounding the skull, so. But yeah, so I guess yapping a little bit about the art journal again. I know I probably didn't need to, but I did get a new sketchbook for it, so technically it's a multimedia book, but it's actually something called Canson Graduate. So, you know, from those it's one of those paper companies that make art paper, but Canson. But I guess they set up a new series called Canson Graduate, but the format of the book kind of reminds me of Moleskine a little bit, so, you know, I was kind of excited to see them, so I ended up getting one of those. I got a multimedia book, so, and it's a little bit on the thinner side, so there's like 72 pages. But yeah, like, if the cover feels like super nice, so I'm not sure about the general paper quality, because I've only like used one page so far, and it's definitely not bleed through, so I don't know what the expectations for being bleed proof for a multimedia paper is, but it's not like it was advertised for markers, so. By the way, I do have a few alcohol markers. I never got quite that deep into alcohol markers when I was younger. Like, there was a period where I would purchase a bunch of like Prismacolor alcohol markers, and I was using those for a while, but I think I reached the point where one of my markers was starting to kind of like lose its ink, and then it kind of just gave up, because I had like spent quite a bit of cash on those markers. Like, I would progressively get new markers over time. But yeah, admittedly, I kind of gave up, so. And then I started sort of getting back into them this year, or at least so it's supposed to when this year started, but I wanted to stream them, as I believe I mentioned it before, but I ended up being mostly digital, so. But yeah, at least I didn't get like a shit ton of alcohol markers. It's just a few. But yeah, admittedly, I don't think my God, I don't think I can really afford that many markers these days, so I think I'll just have to work with what I have. Okay, so here's my exercise so far, and you know, here's my skull. Just meant to be kind of quick, so quick and dirty, as you could say. So let me just go ahead and take a sip of my coffee. Okay, and I'm gonna move Scully out of the way, and just let me you know what? Let me zoom back in, since I wanna check the browser real quick, see how things are going. Okay, so let's take a drink. Okay. All right. So, let me just, sorry, I'm adding a little bit deeper shadow right here, because it probably needs it. It's like, it's supposed to be a warm-up, it's supposed to be a warm-up, dang it. Okay. Okay, I think I'm done now. So, let's label this a skull. But yeah, so today is just going to be a bunch of sketching, and I misspelled skull. Not really, it's, I accidentally added a bracket. Okay, so let's get back to it. So we hide that one, and then I can go ahead and start looking at some references. So yeah, I think I wanted to start with the rib cage a little bit. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. But a few hours before I started the stream, I was looking at a instructional video about simplifying or learning how to draw the rib cage and pelvis. So sorry, I got that was a notification. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to copy those real quick. So we got at least the basic stuff. So maybe that can help me get a grasp of what I'm doing. But yeah, so I'll try to mark the lines. So one interesting thing that I didn't realize about the rib cage is that the back part kind of bends in towards the spine. So yeah, that part was kind of new to me. Also, right now I'm just doing the side profile for I'm just kind of copying the drawings. The video I'm looking at right now, it's not playing, of course. It's I just kind of have it still, but yeah, I'm playing it's drawing the ribcage and pelvis anatomy, structure and construction anatomy 3 by Dan Beardshaw. Sorry. Ugh. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to blend in the marks. I don't want it to be too messy, but yeah, so this is the side profile. And from what I heard, the rib cage is slightly egg-shaped, so of course it's not completely egg-shaped, but it looks a little bit like an egg. So try to remember that with the shape. Maybe like a egg that's been flattened on one side. I don't know. But yeah, I want to get this want to consider this a simpler form, along with trying to figure out how to build it out from cubes. So I know I talk a lot about like learning how to draw cubes and how to build things from cubes. And the reason for that is just because of sorry, I'm blanking out again. The reason for that is that it can make perspective a bit easier. So, especially when you want to draw things like looking upwards or looking downwards. So, yeah, I never like took perspective that seriously for most of my art quote unquote career. I guess not necessarily a career, but not exactly making big bucks off this. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to learn how to. Oh dang! Forgot what I was saying. I wanted to get a better grasp on like forms and making my figures look decent. Okay, so right here's the back, by the way, and this is supposed to represent the back plane, so you can kind of see here, like I'm giving some basic shading up here, but you can see that the back of the rib cage here is kind of bending in slightly, so that's what I got from the video. And yeah, there would technically be a rib cage, or not rib cage, but a spinal cord kind of going back there, so. But yeah, so. And here's the top view, so which kind of looks kind of like a heart, honestly. Yeah. All right. So, just kind of replicating the drawing. It's very cute, very heart-shaped. Doll. Okay. And then it bends back in here, so I guess I should take a moment to kind of observe what I'm looking at right here, so. Especially with the top view, so this should be the front, and this should be the back, I think. And yeah, so I'll name this basic ribcage forms. That's okay. Let me check OBS. So sorry, I'm not the. It's a little hard to look at a reference and OBS on the same page. So sorry if I don't notice chat messages as often as I probably should, just because I'm looking at a reference. Okay. So the basic ribcage forms. Try to remember the, it kind of bends in here. It's kind of its own, technically this is supposed to be its own plane right here, and these rounded edges on the side, so. Okay, so how about I take a look at another image as a reference. Here's a model of a ribcage, so. Kind of looks like it's made of wood. You know what? How about I just copy the image and post it into the Clip Studio so I can actually see what I'm looking at. So yeah, I'm going to try and replicate this image with the simpler method, at least at first. Okay. And of course, we got the sternum and the clavicles over here. So hopefully you guys can see this. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it feels a little weird, trying to keep things within the canvas. Also, let me, zoom in a bit more. Okay. Okay, so here, I'm just gonna try to capture the shape, or what the cube might look like. Sort of bent backwards a little bit. So, yeah, so. Yeah, I know that earlier on I knew about how to properly construct or I've been told that the torso kind of has a bit of a angle to it, like sort of a bean shape, so. The rib cage is a little bit back, and the pelvis is a little bit forward. Goes a little bit forward. You know, one thing I always struggled with, to be completely honest with you, is like positions that lean forward. So, because I was never entirely sure how to depict the torso that way. I guess the pelvis would be going. I guess when that happens, the pelvis and the ribcage will kind of switch positions in terms of their tilt. So that's from what I heard, but maybe I should do more gestures or something. Wondering if I should just do like more gestures. Okay, sorry, I'm like probably shouldn't be drawing in the sternum, but. The sternum is technically what holds the ribcage together, for those who don't know, but. Okay, and it looks like there's a little bit that goes over here, so. And just kind of blocking in the spinal cord. Sorry, I'm just weirdly tired today. I think I might have said it before, but it's probably because of my sleep. My sleep schedule last week was kind of horrific, I'll be honest, so. Like, maybe like 5 hours of sleep every day. You know, I just wasn't able to snooze. Also, when you forget to follow the instructions that you laid out for yourself. Sorry, it just occurred to me that it should be building a simple form. Okay. So we got this, the front area here where the sternum is kind of is. That should be its own plane, and I'll just bring up this circle because it's supposed to represent the end. Sorry, I thought I saw something move. Okay. We go over here. Of course, we gotta remember the back area. So, okay, and I'll block that out with a. Oop. Sorry, there was a bot. Okay. Kind of gave me a little bit of a surprise right then, so sorry about that. Okay, let's just go ahead and start. I'm just gonna blend the front out, so goodbye sternum. I think I forgot what most of my I think I forgot most well, most of the bones are called. I was kind of thinking about that a little bit earlier, but maybe it's not that big of a deal. I think I still have a general memory of it, but yeah. Okay. All right, and almost forgot that it kind of curves in here. All right, so we got this in. Okay. All right, so I'm just kind of marking out the center here. And I guess looking at it now, I can kind of see why there's why that guy kind of set the plane around here, because I think that's where these little attachments kind of just drew over it between the ribs, or these like weird little rib attachments. That's kind of where they seem to happen. So yeah. By the way, I've been feeling like my audio has been a little bit crunchy lately, so kind of wondering why that's been the case. I don't know, maybe it's because I messed with the compression a while back, so. You know, I don't have the AC going anymore, so I kind of realized, so. I can probably like try to put it back to where it was previously. But yeah, I guess that's kind of a hopeful goal, so. Anyways, so here's the simplified rib cage. It's a 3/4 feel. The colors are kind of looking a bit muddy, but I guess that's kind of on me, so. Also, how about I just kind of put this in? Okay. And over here, just kind of marking out the... Sorry, I'm like trying to mark out the spinal... Not the spinal cord, but just the spine. Sorry, I might have been calling it the spinal cord this entire time, but the spinal cord, that's a part of the nervous system, not the bone system. Ha! Or skeletal system. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how many of you guys ever got that involved in, like, anatomy or anything, but... Yeah, these names can go kind of crazy. I say as I struggle with just the name skeletal system. Okay, sorry, I keep kind of messing around a bit, but right now I'm just kind of marking out the clavicles and the top of the sternum. Clavicles, I think, are what helps you, like, lift your hands up. Oh yeah, and there's a... Wait, did the ad break happen already, or... Sorry, like, it completely blinked out right there. Just got kind of involved with the process. Okay. So, alright. Yeah, I think I missed the... When the ad break happened. I'm also gonna just erase this cube, so... I would like to kind of start marking out the ribs. And I'll do that on a separate layer, so wish me luck, everyone. So it seems like the ribs have kind of just go. It kind of goes up here, just goes up like a big circle here, but down here it gets a little more complicated. Okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna... Let me just mentally recover. Ugh, okay. But yeah, so right now I'm just gonna go ahead and since it's I'm developing it further, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the rest of the sternum. But yeah, so despite my constant struggles with the skeletal system, I always did have an interest in trying to draw it. So I was trying to grab a new color. I realize I probably don't need to because I have color history open on the bottom of my sidebar. You know, it took me like ages to figure out that that was a thing. Like, I saw it in a couple of speed paints. Like, wasn't entirely sure what I was looking at, but yeah, it's definitely a useful tool. Okay. But yeah, a big reason for why I wanted to start getting into practicing the skeletal system is just kind of I think bones are just cool, to be honest. Like, there's just this elegance in the shape of bones. Like, all these organic shapes. And I just think they're kind of pretty. Maybe, I guess part of me had the urge to kind of combine both the creepiness of the skeleton with some of the beauty of the Art Nouveau movement. Because I think I might have mentioned this earlier, but actually I don't know if I did, but Art Nouveau was definitely like one of my earlier, not earlier, but kind of early-ish inspirations. I don't know, I'm not sure what I can even like consider early inspiration anymore. I've been at this for like a long time. But yeah. Okay, so here's the hard part right now. I'm trying to get to... Sorry, I don't know how much my mic peaks. Audio is a mystery. But yeah, here's the hard part. It's just getting these ribs drawn. I find ribs to be very, very complicated and difficult. Of course, I think I'm better at like trying to depict complicated shapes in general. But still, though. Okay. So, we got these upper part ribs here. And, got they're being partially hidden by the clavicles, but... Yeah, okay, sorry. It's just trying to think, kind of, like, remembering that the scapula exists, but it doesn't seem like this model has any scapulas on it, so I don't really have to worry about that right now. For those who don't know, a scapula is are the shoulder bones, so they're kind of these flattish looking bones that are on your back, and yeah, those are there for the back. I think they're supposed to help you lift up your arms, so I don't remember the exact function of them, but yeah. By the way, I just remembered that I have some figure drawing books behind me, so... Oh god, sorry, my model. You know, I have those ready to use as a reference, I think. But, okay, so we're just gonna get to the spookier parts. you know, quote unquote spooky, more just like a very intimidating. By the way, I don't know about you guys, but I've been trying to help myself to some autumn-y foods because they're starting to, the autumn-y stuff is starting to come out again. Actually, I think they've been out for a little while, but obviously not for too long, but yeah. You know, pumpkin spice lattes, cider donuts, which are like cinnamon sugar donuts. Maybe not cinnamon sugar, but I guess cinnamon sugar is more like cinnamon sugar donuts usually refers to like cinnamon and powdered sugar, but yeah, it's more just more of the grainy stuff or the sugar. So yeah, I kind of didn't really need to go over explain that, but yeah, I've been seeing some of that around. So okay, so we got this kind of, but yeah, so I'm trying to work on the false ribs right here. So I'm not entirely sure how to describe them, but false ribs are kind of like attached, have a weird attachment, so they're not really attached to the sternum like the true, quote unquote, true ribs. However, they're still a pain to draw. And yeah, it seems like they go down quite a bit. It's like kind of worried that my example here isn't enough. Yeah, I don't think it is actually. Okay. So just kind of, you know what? I'll start working on the other ribs again. So, you know, it just kind of wraps around the shape. By the way, I also worked a little bit on the model again for those, aka the 3D model for those who are interested. Admittedly, I haven't been doing as much as I really should have, considering the time limit, but I just needed a little bit of a break. So yeah, I did do some basic rigging, but I ended up deleting the rig. I just needed to pull the arms down basically so I can model the upper coat area. That was basically my main concern. But yeah, I realized I think I need to figure out how to parent things to other parts of the model. I believe that's what the term is, like parenting. Because basically what I'm hoping to basically getting the certain areas to follow the, or certain meshes to follow the main coat mesh, because the coat was what the rig was attached to, and I think I'm not sure if I need to like start merging everything in properly or merging the different sections of the model, or if I should just merge the meshes together, or just have them parent to each other, I guess. Yeah, it's definitely reaching the part that's kind of beyond me. So far my Blender experience has just been modeling, to be honest. I'm definitely out of my depths right at the moment. But since I have been able to move the arms down, I might be able to just go back and do the actual like texturing, because I definitely know the texturing is important. Honestly, I think the only reason that my V-Rate model looks okay as it is just the textures. I was definitely struggling that one weekend. Okay, I think I like scribbled out something that kind of looks like a rib cage. Oh man. Hold on a second. Ooh. It looks like we got some ribs that are detached completely. So I had to account for that one. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Whoops. Ugh. All right, so I'm just gonna try and outline them a bit so I kind of have a better idea. And maybe like help improve the shape. I noticed these top ribs right here are pretty flat. And maybe I can like take a break from the ribs and maybe start trying to figure out the pelvis. So I feel like a lot of the stuff I need to figure out is just how to simplify at the start and then build up later. I don't think simplifying the rib cage is really that hard, but I've been struggling to get the pelvis down, like mentally. Yeah, with the rib cage, the hard part is the complex areas, but with the pelvis, it's not that hard to get the complicated areas looking okay if you have a reference, but I can't always work with a reference because I tend to draw from the imagination mostly. So I have to kind of work, try to like memorize how shapes look. It's a bit of a pain. Oh yes, and I almost forgot to mark out these little attachment areas. Okay. Just kind of mark it all out. Okay. Yeah, hopefully this stream isn't too dull. All right. Let's see. Okay. So just kind of made messy marks right there. Okay. I think maybe about like a week or two ago I did like do some pelvis sketches, you know, talking about the pelvis again. But I didn't exactly fully click in my brain. Because I was trying to work on drawing the body in like 5-point perspective. Been kind of talking about 5-point a little bit lately, but like it's not as bad as it sounds, but I know it does kind of help reflect how the human eye actually perceives things, because things get a little bit warped in our vision from what I take. Like people will usually just use a 3-point perspective or a 2-point. But I feel like maybe having a little bit of a 5-point in there when it hurts. Though that's probably more from like trying to warp the cubes a bit rather than doing things fully. So okay, so we got something here. How about I just kind of fill in the background so it becomes a little more clear about what we're supposed to be looking at. So okay. And I feel like it looks kind of cool. Could be cooler, but you know, it's good enough. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna mark these two. And I didn't really detail where the ribs that go behind are here, so should probably be a little more careful about that. Okay, so try to... Alright. Shouldn't worry too much about the shape here. Okay. But yeah, maybe sometime this, for like this autumn season, like maybe closer to... I think maybe closer to Halloween, I could try doing a spookier piece. So... maybe like a piece that kind of features a ribcage. I'm also kind of wondering if it should involve some a Technicolor color scheme in there, so like, or Hyper Pop. I feel like most people don't know what Hyper Pop is, but I don't know, I just don't hear. More so just because it feels like I don't hear about it that much. Maybe everyone knows what Hyper Pop is, but just doesn't think about it. But yeah, I've been kind of wanting to mess with something like that again for a while, so. I'm not sure if I would actually work with that though, but maybe like some maybe some more saturated colors than what I usually do. Okay. Sorry, I was drinking my coffee. Just gonna check up on the stream browser. Okay. Sorry, I just realized. Okay, I'm just gonna make a quick group and call it Ribs 1. Alright. So I did manage to do something kind of fun last Sunday, around like evening. I ended up joining like this group call with some people and just basically had a little art gathering, so that was kind of nice. Glad I was able to kind of pop into that kind of thing for a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna get a reference. I got this. Thankfully, I managed to save this one reference of a model of a pelvis in different angles, so I want to use that. Yeah. So, you know, as I said before, a couple of weeks back, I drew some pelvises, one in the side profile and also one in the frontal profile. So hopefully I can make something decent again. Sorry, I'm like drinking through my water like crazy today. All right. So I'm just gonna grab this orange again. How about I do a frontal view of the rib cage again? Because I definitely, I was trying to like draw some rib cages earlier, and I've been struggling a little bit. Okay, sorry. I'm supposed to remember it's kind of like a trapezoid that's going, or a cube that kind of tapers in. So, and we got to get this tailbone right here. So, mark it out as kind of a heart shape. And I'm not actually using the references from the video right now. Just I'm kind of eyeing it at the moment, so trying to get these big ears, quote unquote. Kind of looks like elephant ears. So let's see. Try to match it up. So you do that, and it kind of bends in right here. Kind of whoop. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of a struggle, guys. I'm sorry. Drawing 2 circles. Huh. Sorry, it's Is this inaccurate, actually? Hold on. I need to look at another reference real quick. Okay. Sorry, it's like, oh my god, there's so many things. Because they're supposed to kind of look like they're being attached right here. This is a drawing. Yeah. I don't know, it just looks not accurate at the moment. So I'm kind of just looking at another reference. Yeah, it should be this kind of shape here. Then these are supposed to meet together in the middle. Like there's supposed to be a ligament between the two. And you get this put a little bit of arch down here because they're kind of, there's like these circular things. Not sure why the pelvis looks like that, but yeah. Then I'm just drawing out the beginnings of the humor here, so to kind of remember that it's supposed to look like sockets. Okay. Sorry, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Okay. Let's get the dark purple again, and I'll just start drawing. Oh man. Try to draw this. And then I know that the pelt or the tailbone would be pushing back in toward like this. So yeah. And there probably should be I think this is called the iliac crest, now that I think about it. I don't know, it's been a long time. Try to get bending shape right here. It kind of goes in, I think, at least. So, yeah. Yeah, this part's definitely complicated. So, look at the other reference again real quick. Wherever it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. It should be kind of coming together. But yeah, so before the stream was happening, I was trying to take notes about what trying to take notes about how I feel about art and stuff to kind of make things a little bit more personal, kind of help me think a bit better. And so before the stream, I was trying to think of like what kind of personal symbolism that the bones would have for me. So specifically, though, I do tend to think about like the rib cage and the skull, and I kind of see those as a little bit more of the quote unquote personal, like maybe a bit more about in a way, a bit like it could symbolize like what's deep inside us. Like with the skull, it's it's the head, it's where the face sits. So it has that kind of so in that way it kind of feels a little bit emotional, but with the rib cage, I know that's where the heart and the lungs are, so that kind of also has that personal element. Sorry, I feel like I'm not making a ton of sense, but both of those give off that kind of impression a little bit to me. But however, with the pelvis, it's kind of another story. Yeah, I feel like pelvises don't really have that kind of romantic connotation, quote unquote romantic. Romantic in the Gothic sense. Obviously not how we use romance now, but I don't know, I guess part of my brain kind of thinks it like sex, basically. Because, the hips and all that. And other stuff. But yeah, probably not I guess another way to look at it could be like stability, if you like include the legs too with that symbolism. Because the pelvis is kind of important for how we walk and move around. So I guess that could have that symbolism as well. Just thinking of the naughty things with the pelvis, so sorry about that. Okay, so how does this look? And of course I did this on the same layer, so oops. You know what, how about I just kind of mark in these real quick, or the spinal sections to the spinal cord. Okay, just gonna get these little niblets that stick out. I'm just calling them niblets for now. Okay, and then just gonna do what I did with the other drawings. Just kind of block in this stuff, and I'll leave the area where the humor would be as just blank for the time being. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of a mess, to be honest. And I keep... hold on a second. Just gonna add this little detail in. Kind of looks like the ribs are still... or the spine is still going into the tailbone. I know that's not actually the case, but it just kind of gives that vibe a little bit. So... yeah. And one thing that I noticed in the reference I was using is that this kind of bump out where the humor, or the end of the humor would be attached to it. So hopefully I keep that in mind, or remember that part. I didn't really do. Sorry. I think the playlist has ended, so sorry I forgot to loop that, but okay. Alright. Yeah, sorry I'm not the most chatty right now. I'm just kinda... I realize I'm not feeling the best at the moment. No, I might keep this stream pretty short today. You know, sorry, I'm just really not feeling it. And, yeah, I was trying to, like, stream for longer times, but yeah, maybe not today. I might post a still live notification though, just so see if some people want to pop in. Okay. But yeah, so here's a basic pelvis. That doesn't really look all that good, does it? Yeah, not like the skull right here. Yeah, I feel like the skull actually came out decent. Yeah, this is what happens when you have a proper reference. Fun fact. But yeah, I think since I got some basic stuff done, maybe I can start working on some more gestural shapes after I get this advertised. So I'm just gonna copy these images and just kind of post them. And I need to fix my cushion right here because my rear end is starting to kind of hurt a bit. Okay. Still live. Okay. I don't know, maybe I could still go on longer. I'm not sure today. Okay. Alright, so I got that posted on Blue Sky. And let's see. So I'm just gonna go ahead and because I'm supposed to, part of this is supposed to be so to help me learn how to build it out from cubes and stuff, or to build the skeleton out from cubes, so I might have a better grasp on how to draw this kind of stuff in perspective. I think I said this earlier, but so sorry if you already heard it, but I think the reason why learning how to build things from cubes is that it helps you like draw things out in like perspective. So because I know I definitely like struggled with before I got into like took the time to study the cubes. I know that I was struggling to draw heads and faces at certain angles. Like it would take me a very long time to get it to look decent, but when I started taking the time to learn the cubes, oh my god, my voice is like falling apart. When I started taking the time to study the basic forms a bit better, I realized that did in fact help me kind of grow. Definitely helped me like learn to draw faster though. That's definitely a thing. Okay, so I know this reference here isn't really that great now that I actually look at it, but I think I could still follow the basic shapes. Especially since I just drew another thing. Okay. I almost forgot I need to fix my cushion. Okay. Ugh. Okay, just move this thing. Refold this. My cushion is actually a blanket, by the way. Okay. And I'm also out of water, so great. All right. So I'm going to try and like draw this out in by sort of following the shape of the cube a bit, so or at least trying to. So we got this iliac crest right here, and it seems like it's kind of this further one is actually like turned towards us, or appears like in the front for us. Okay. So trying to make myself not worry about I'm trying. Okay, and I know that these circular parts kind of meet down here, so just going to depict that as a cylinder at the moment. Yeah, I think the thing that kind of messes me up is the crest right here. Kind of difficult to comprehend at angles. So, so I try doing that. Maybe like this and this. So much more basic shape. And then it kind of continues down here a little bit. Okay. Stress. Let's see. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'm gonna put down these circles right here. I keep calling them the circles. I'm not sure what they actually are, or the function, as I said before. Okay. So right here, and trying to figure things out. It's a bit thinner here, or it seems kind of a bit thinner, but maybe not. Yeah, it's not my best work, I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you all, they ain't my best work here. Oh. Okay, sorry. Meant to get back to OBS. No, maybe it'll help if I just like expand the freaking canvas. Yeah, I think that'll make things a little bit easier for myself. And I actually toned the background a little bit, so background is supposed to have like some colors. So I'm just gonna stretch it out real quick. Okay. Okay. But yeah, so I was talking about it a bit earlier too, but I was able to partake in like an art night, quote unquote, with some other people on someone's Discord server, and that was pretty fun. I don't often get to socialize with others, so yeah, it was kind of nice to just hang out. Oh yeah, and I just remember there's supposed to be an area for the legs up here. So we started with some gestures. You know, that part was a little bit crazy because we were doing like aerial gestures. But, you know, I managed to get through that section, and then we messed around with some expressions. And we basically drew each other's characters, but with some random expressions that the person ahead of us chose. So yeah, that was fun. Of course, most of the sketches from there aren't my proudest, to be honest, just because they were like 5-minute sketches, and as some of you guys might know, I'm not exactly the embodiment of speed right here, so yeah, they were a bit rough to look at. Most of them weren't the worst, but you know, some of them were the worst. Okay. Probably should have made this a bit rounder. I'll just draw a circle. Yeah, now I think about it, should be have these like little points. Okay. I'll just work on the shape a wee bit more, and then... Okay, so here's a pelvis at like 3/4. It's definitely very simplified, but... You know, it's mostly just a sketching and a study screen. Studying and sketching. Okay. Okay. And I'm just kind of adding a little bit of a background around here. Alright. So kind of building it out. Okay. But yeah, after this I might be doing something a little more, actually, maybe I can do something a little more gestural. I don't know. I'd actually have to like look up gesture references, which I'm not really sure about. Oh, I still have a ton of coffee, holy shit. Okay. Okay. And I'm just gonna draw a sort of a cylinder to kind of indicate indicate a spinal cord. But yeah, maybe I can well, maybe I can just do some like very, very basic sketches of the relationship between the pelvis and the rib cage. So I'm just gonna make a new group, name it pelvis. Also, I've not saved this image at all now that I think about it, so okay, hold on a minute. Actually, I need to indicate the references too. Okay, sorry, I need to like do all these files and important stuff, so let's name this bone study. Okay. And I'm just gonna slide back real quick. Okay, so right now I just kind of pulled forward this anatomy book that I got a while back. It's I think it's called Anatomy in Motion by Classic Human Anatomy in Motion. And it's by Valerie L. Winslow. I can't show you it because it's I don't have a camera or that kind of thing. You know, I've been thinking about more traditional art streams lately. I'm not sure if I would be performing that anytime soon, but I do think I have the tools for it mostly. I don't know, I might need a USB splitter or something, because I've been suffering the pain of not enough USB ports. Okay, what am I doing? Sorry, it's like but yeah, so right now I was just kind of looking at a reference image for a spine. And I'm trying to get sort of this gestural feel to it, so kind of this messy curve right here. It's like vaguely spine-shaped. Here's a tailbone. That should be just gonna put down our little sorry. Put down our pelvis, put down a quick rib cage. See if that works. Maybe not. Okay, we're just gonna delete that. I never like fully read through this thing though. I tried reading through it, but like it's very, very medically, or it's like it's kind of medically focused, or like the author has a history of like studying anatomy through medical classes rather than their art classes, because I did read their introduction and it sounded like or at least from their experiences, that there wasn't much anatomy classes available for artists at the time. So they ended up having to learn from sorry, I'm like doodling randomly. Trying to cool off mentally a bit, but yeah, apparently anatomy classes were kind of hard to get into or even have at a lot of art schools. So they kind of had to go out of their way to figure this kind of stuff out. And so a lot of the language used is the actual medical language rather than just adjusted for like, dumb artists like me, so. But yeah, sorry, I was just, sometimes I just do these, like, quick little doodles. I don't do it a ton on stream, but I tend to draw, like, random torsos, essentially. Okay. But yeah, thinking about trying to do some cubes real quick. Not necessarily just cubes, but like cubes that represent the torso, so. But yeah. Sorry, just taking a quick moment to cool off. I kind of wonder if I should do like some gestural streams. If I do more study streams, but I'm not entirely sure. I feel like that kind of thing would be fun with as a collab rather than just on my own, to be honest. I just don't know who would like do that kind of collab with me though. Okay. Okay. And try to remember not to get too detailed because of so I don't get banned. I'll try to not draw out the butt, essentially. Okay. 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 Yeah, I'm just kind of... I guess it's supposed to be not a figure that isn't necessarily too muscular right here. But admittedly, I'm not necessarily doing this kind of a study just to get better at torsos in general. I'm doing this more because I actually want to draw the bones. Because, I don't know how many people were here when I said this, but I think bones are kind of pretty. You know, there's a lot of elegance in their forms and shapes. And I did try to actually properly learn how to draw bones in the past, but it's the medical language and there's the complexity of it all kind of just beat my ass. So, okay, sorry, here's my little cool down sketch, and I'll try to get back to it. So right now I am looking at the book, and I think and I'm at one of the back chapters right now, and because the earlier chapters tend to be more about the actual anatomy, and it seems like these later chapters include more of the actual motion part. So let's see. I'm on chapter 12 called Rhythmic Movement. Okay, and there's a walk cycle, sequential movement. It's not what sorry, it's probably not the most interesting. Okay. Okay, yeah, so I think I'm getting close. We have a diagram of diagonal and twisting actions. Okay, so yeah, basically what I want to do is try to depict cubes. Oh, look, a bookmark. That would have been useful. Okay, so but yeah, so I'm trying to go head on real quick. And let's just hide this reference for now, but okay. Sorry, it's a bit of nothing. I kind of wish I could show you guys the book, but like there's so much nudity in here because it's it's an art reference. It's an anatomy book. Of course there's a touch of nudity. But yeah, I would get nuked off this website if I tried to show you guys that, so. Okay, let's try this. A bit of a tapered cube. So here's a frontal view, and I'm just trying to, very, very simplified. Sorry, I'm like trying to include limbs a little bit. Yeah, it's not really coming out, so. This is a frontal view. Now we're going to do a contrapposto real quick. So okay, I don't know why I just did there. I need to actually mark out the shoulders and the pelvis before this. This is actually something I learned back in community college. So for those who don't know, I studied I studied art in community college. And they do teach you to kind of mark out the pelvis and the torso and the pelvis first. Torso is the pelvis is in the torso. Dang it, this is why I needed to journal. Okay. But yeah, so contrapposto is you have a bit of a little bit of an angle that kind of, sorry, I don't know the word for it. Probably do, but no, the tilt's kind of the opposite way from each other. And it gives kind of a relaxed position, so it's very common in a lot of Renaissance art, I believe. That's where the term comes from, is the Renaissance, I think. I know it's from Italy. I just maybe not entirely sure about the Renaissance specifically. But yeah. And I gotta remind myself that I actually need to like sketch out the bone parts. Okay. So here's the rib cage. And also ads are in like 5 minutes, by the way, so here's the challenging part, is the trying to rotate the cubes, so because that makes it a little more dynamic to kind of rotate it a bit, so I'm doing another contrapposto. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so here's I need to erase this before we get to the difficult part. So, sorry, I keep using the book as a reference. Like, the drawings in here are kind of amazing, or like really, really good, to be honest. It's just I know generally they want you to actually like draw from life, though, is the thing. So here it shows the rib cage kind of being or going in this direction. So yeah, I'm trying to depict it as an actual cube. And I know for the yeah, I don't think it's going to be very good at drawing, though, I'll be honest, from my end. But yeah, so this really messed up arrow. Okay, this one goes here on the other direction, and I'm just gonna see what I can do. So I tend to have this line going from the upper cube or the rib cage area, and I usually have that kind of flow down towards the groin. That's kind of how I try to keep that sense of motion. And I'm just gonna, yeah, sorry, I think I walked into something kind of a little over my head. I think I might be in over my head today, so oh man. Yeah, it feels like the stream has been a lot longer than it actually is. Okay. Yeah, this looks like a freaking mess, I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys mind some more free sketching, but okay. I'm just gonna draw some cubes real quick. I don't know if people just want to see people like sketch mindlessly is the thing. But yeah, I think I might be cooked. I just might be cooked today. I should have just finished my sketch yesterday. I'd be drawing a pretty boy instead of this. Ah, the agony. The agony. Okay. Yeah, that actually made me a little bit lightheaded. Okay. But yeah, so I'm actually trying to build a torso from imagination a little bit. And I'm drawing the spinal cord as a bit of a sharper angle, just because I think it's a bit more interesting. Definitely been trying to utilize more sharp, or like quote-unquote sharp lines in my drawings recently. You know, in general. Also, this pelvis cube can be moved up a little bit. Okay. Okay, okay. I'm just gonna check the browser real quick. Ad break is coming like pretty soon, so I think I'm actually gonna go on my break. So okay. I'll just give it another minute, and then I can check up on things. I need more water too, so that's the big issue. But yeah, the ads are about to start, so I'll see you guys pretty soon. Okay, and let's just turn. All right, I'm back. So just ended up taking the. Just decided to take the time to just kind of sit around. So sorry if you were subscribed, but I don't think most people are. So yeah, I just needed a little bit of a moment. I might do one or two of these, but I'm going to be honest. If I continue the stream, I might need to just switch to something else. So maybe like work on this harvest dance a little bit more. But yeah, I know I want to work on a downwards angles, the thing. Okay, so I'm gonna like lower the saturation on this real quick so I can see what I'm doing a bit better, but I think right now I should be putting this out. So, but yeah, just kind of trying to take time to think about things a bit more. Also, since I'm drawing skeletons, I do want to. I was kind of remembering this little series idea that I wanted to do. Not like a comic or anything, but like a series of paintings. And I actually thought about it back like maybe in January even, but it's kind of inspired by alchemy. Like I already forgot the term, but you know, like in alchemy, how sometimes there's these themes of like the different stages. Like there's black, white, yellow, and red. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot the term, but I actually just put away my alchemy book too, so it's not like a real book on alchemy, it's just like art that was made for alchemy, I guess. I got it from Barnes & Noble a long time ago. It's a cool book, but yeah. Oh, hey, Jay. Thank you for coming here today. It's been it's been a little bit slow here, but I've been doing some skeleton studies. I'm considering switching to like sketching or thumbnailing again, but I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah, how's your day going today? Have you been drawing anything exciting? Yeah, I was just talking about like an idea that I kind of had to make a series that's inspired by alchemy. So, but yeah, one of the things about that idea is like for the first stage, I wanted to include like some skeletons in there. So, not yet, but I just got a commission for a Pokemon emote, so I'm hyped. Oh, congratulations on the commission. Yeah, it's nice to hear. Yeah, I just been kind of chugging away on my own thing, so I was supposed to get like a sketch done yesterday, but you know, yesterday I ended up deciding to go outside and buy basically a new sketchbook and some fancy ballpoint pens. Yeah, you can probably hear it right here. Sorry, I'm now on an ASMR channel. Okay, but yeah, so I'm starting an art journal. I don't know if you heard of those or not, but they're kind of like basically journaling with some art. That's my main takeaway, but yeah, I wanted to kind of reverse my brain rot. Yeah, definitely, because I've been feeling very scattered brain a lot lately, especially during my Blender sessions last week. I was like, I could barely like talk about anything. Of course, part of the blame could be put on Blender, but I'm trying to do something that I'm not used to at all, but yeah. Love art supplies. Yep. Do you do any traditional art out of curiosity? I used to do a lot of traditional art back when I was in community college, but also this pelvis is probably very incorrect. Oh well. But yeah, I used to do a lot of I used to mostly do traditional art in college because I just kept having computer issues back then, but yeah, nowadays I mostly do traditional, but sometimes I think about doing digital, but I think about going back to true traditional sometimes. I do have a webcam that actually bought specifically for that, like last Christmas. You know, I had a bunch of gift cards, so I got a webcam, but yeah, not as much as digital. I want to get into watercolors. I see. Yeah, watercolors can be pretty nice. Are you I actually, one of the things I was actually trying to, or one of the art mediums that I was trying to get into was acrylic sorry, I cannot speak today, but yeah, acrylic inks, which I kind of treated like I treated like watercolors essentially. But yeah, I kind of liked them because they were more permanent than watercolors could be. But yeah, I wish you luck if you ever get into watercolors. But yeah, so when I was still in a community college, I actually used to do mostly like oil paintings. For those who don't know, I actually really liked oil painting quite a bit, but it's kind of hard to do when you don't have like the proper space for it, because oil painting can get pretty messy. Also, hello Nakuz, thank you for coming today. I've just been doing some studies. I think I'm getting a little bit fried by them, but I was thinking of just like kind of freestyling a couple more basic sketches and maybe just starting to work on my thumbnailing again. So yeah, I was originally supposed to work on this, but I wasn't very happy with the composition here. Like, I guess the general thing isn't too bad, but I was kind of thinking about applying some more perspective to it. So, you know, have the camera basically be a bit higher than it actually is. I feel like I could have developed Gallon's outfit a bit more. So Gallon's one of my OCs, but yeah. Very true. I tried to start oil painting a few months ago and I just lost interest. I see. Still pondering submitting an oil painting to my local gallery or getting a digital print. I see. Yeah, when I was doing oil painting, I kind of spent a ton of time in the studio that was at my, like the art studio, because we had a painting studio. And basically I had my own space there, so. Yeah, I think one of the big tricks to oil painting, to be honest, is just doing more than one, because there will be times when you just kind of have to wait for things to dry out, or like get like touch dry. So I love oil. Yeah, it's actually a pretty forgiving medium. So, you know, I know a lot of people don't like the slow drying process, but the slow dry actually makes things a lot more easygoing, I think. With acrylics, it kind of just like dries, or like it gets like tacky really fast, and that causes a lot of stress because you can't really work when the paint is tacky. You kind of have to wait it out, and depending on your depending on which acrylics you have, that can be a trouble, to be honest. But yeah, so I think I was trying to say earlier that is that sometimes I feel like people don't really I hear complaints online, but about like oil painting taking like hundreds of years to dry, but I don't think what the part that people like really bring up is that it doesn't take that long to become touch dry. It just takes it just can take like ages to actually like, cure, but touch dry is like a different story. So I don't know, there's a lot of I think people tend to dramatize the faults of oil painting, and that kind of drives me a little bit crazy as a person who used to use oil paint. I love the whole process. I see. Yeah, and there's also like mediums that you can use to speed things up. So I used to use like Gamsol Light, which is a alkylid medium. Okay, sorry, this like thinking it's not coming out. Okay, it's so relaxing. I see. Actually, if you guys are interested, I can like show you one of my older paintings. I just have to get onto DeviantArt because most of my old art that I get is actually on DeviantArt. Also, just a reminder for one of my redeems, I actually have a show old art redeem if people are interested in that. But okay, hold on. I'm trying to like draw a torso at like weird angles, and I'm just not pulling it off at the moment. Okay. But yeah, I'll just show it off real quick. So let me pull out one of the, try to sort through these 8 million tabs that I have open. I must warn you though, the anatomy is definitely not very good there, so. Okay. Actually, I can just look up this. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so I got a few of old art pieces here, so. I was really proud of this one back in the day, but don't really feel the same, quite the same way. Hold on, let me zoom in. Yeah, so. Like, I still really like the background here, it's just I just realized that some of the proportions, like, on the face is really wonky. So. Also, this is supposed to be like a little frog on top of the head. Okay. Yeah, sorry to... I always have the need to just, like, bombard people with my old art. And also just one more, because, I actually did win a prize for this one, because, I don't know, I don't think it's really anything special, but someone liked it. And, I got the Dean's Award. But yeah, there's, sometimes I have periods where I just really want to draw tulips, and, I did that with this. I guess looking at this image now, I guess one of the reasons why I kind of stopped doing so much traditional art is just, taking photos. Because, dear God, you can see the lighting. Yeah, it looks really messy, Yeah, one thing I didn't like about oil painting was just a lot of the oil painting brushes are kind of didn't really get that fine, so I couldn't get as detailed as I actually would have wanted. But yeah, and I think at some point I just started using like acrylic brushes. Like, dang it, it's just trying to, I want to get the detail I want, dang it. So I guess right now I'm just trying to do looking at my doodle right here, I guess I realized that I'm trying to do drawing a pretty extreme angle, maybe like a lying down figure. But it actually kind of reminds me of a piece I looked at earlier. I don't think I can show it on Twitch though, but yeah, I was looking at some historical artwork by Gustav Klimt, and there was a piece I thought looked really cool called, it was for a poem I think called Iris. So I think maybe if you try to look up Gustav Klimt and Iris, maybe you can like find something related to that. Where's my reference? Okay. But yeah, it's like a really cool piece. But it's also a nude figure, so yeah, that's why I can't show you guys, unfortunately. Because I don't want to get nuked. But do you guys ever just like take time to just kind of try to observe some older artworks, or maybe not as like historical artists, I mean? I try to do that every once in a while, but I haven't been that great at that lately. But yesterday I did try to take some time to kind of learn about some artists of the past. You know, yesterday I was actually watching like a YouTube documentary style video about like an artist called Morbius. And apparently it was like super duper influential on a lot of sci-fi and fantasy. And like, funnily enough, I feel like I feel like I didn't really hear about him, though. It's kind of the crazy thing. But yeah, Yeah, it was a really interesting documentary. Kind of went over the life of the guy. And then after that, I went to Michael's. So, okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to. And I tried doing some reading from my Gustav Klimt book because you guys probably know this by now, but I hoard art books, so haven't been able to do that as much lately. But yeah, it's arguably a hobby of mine. But try to read a little bit, but I was kind of worn out by then. Yeah, I've been like super exhausted these past couple of days, so haven't been able to do too much. I need to get back to uploading the VODs. I got everything from from March to May uploaded, thankfully, but yeah, I need to get back to working on June. I also need to make thumbnails for everything from May. I've been trying to get more art books. I really want to go shopping for graphic novels. I see. Yeah, I like graphic novels too, but I usually don't have the money for it. But yeah, I love art books. Like, I think a majority of my book collection is that I have in my bedroom is art books, so kind of just looking over at them. But do you have any like specific art books that you're looking for? You know, outside of graphic novels? I guess I could also say, are there like any historical periods or artists that you're interested in looking at, if you're looking for that kind of thing? There's a lot of art books from living artists that are really good too. I also have a lot of Final Fantasy XIV art books, so like, you know, the MMO for Final Fantasy. I actually collected a lot of those last year. Not really. I like supporting the artist I follow. I have Peter Moorbacher's, sorry, I butchered that name, Angelarium art books. Amazing illustrations. I see. I think I heard of those, but I don't know. I feel like when I tried to look for a book, I feel like I couldn't find the actual book. I did see they were selling some cards for it. Admittedly, a lot of the art books I have are from historical artists, because you know, Barnes and Nobles has like some cheaper art books out there, so you know, I've gotten a few of those. I got basically a lot of impressionist artists, some Art Nouveau artists. But yeah, for some living artist, you know, I have Amano art books because he's still around, but you know, he's kind of a bigger deal already. I don't think I did a good job on this pelvis, by the way, so oops. Okay, you know, I think I probably should just move on to try to form this a little bit better. So, but yeah, I also have a art book by Haikala, or I think that's how you pronounce it. She has like kind of these whimsical kinds of art pieces. And also for my birthday, I asked for an art book from a guy called I'm trying to look at his name from here, but the text is too dark. He has like some crazy illustrations. Those illustrations kind of remind me of what I think I've seen from Angelarium. So I'll just grab it real quick so I can tell you it. It's Alan something, yeah. Okay, by a guy called Alan Williams. But yeah, it's kind of this surrealist fantasy art style. So I actually discovered him from Image FX magazine, which is a digital art magazine that I used to get constantly. But okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember what I'm doing. But yeah, admittedly, I think a lot of my art books are more historical. Oh my god, my voice is cracking. Okay. Yeah, I guess it isn't just the Barnes and Nobles ones. I have some other ones as well. So, some Frank Frazetta books. I got a Gustave Dore. I got an art book from him. He's author who did an artist who did a lot of prints during the Romanticism period. I have a lot of Art Nouveau artists, so I got like Edmond Dulac, who's a watercolor painter from the Art Nouveau period. I also have Kay Nielsen. He's Art Nouveau. He actually did some concept art for early Disney stuff. So, like he did a concept art for Night on Bald Mountain, if you heard of that one. Sorry, I'm just trying to. And I need to like focus on my art piece, but oh yeah, I have Arthur Rackham. He's also a Art Nouveau, also a watercolorist. Hold on. Trying to have a general idea of the piece I want, but trying to make sure it gets trying to mark out the important parts and try to establish a bit of a flow here. So, but yeah, I'm trying to draw this with the angle being more downwards. So try to remind myself that's kind of a ladder, or basically you can't really see the vanishing points, any vanishing points because of because it's like looking down, a little bit of a bird's eye view. So admittedly, kind of out of my comfort zone. Okay. Okay, so I guess her body's kind of facing Galen a bit more, but maybe have her torso be a bit turned away. Because they're supposed to be kind of dancing in like this. Actually, I should probably change the title at this point, because I basically switched topics. Okay, hold on, everyone. Oh yes, where I want to look. Okay. Okay, screw skeletons. Working on a sketch. Okay. I think I might try to go on for a little bit longer, so, but yeah, I updated the title now, so I won't get in trouble, but yeah. Yeah, I think doing like the sketch studies are kind of hard. Maybe if it was just a painting study, it wouldn't have been an issue, but yeah. Okay. But yeah, it looks like you guys are going to be seeing my ugly sketches now. I did try doing like a thumbnailing and painting or sort of a planning stream once, but I feel like it kind of went terrible. I feel like it went kind of terribly, so I didn't really want to do something. I just didn't really want to do something like that again, but I do have a actual idea of what I want for this image, so okay, hold on. This is a tiny one. Okay, need to shorten these hands a little bit. My worst enemy, hands. So, just gonna do a rough doodle for the arms right now, and I can figure out the proportions a bit better. Okay. So, and of course you want to get need to mark out these legs, so. Okay. All right. So, sorry, I'm trying to think a little bit. Type this again. Yeah, I should probably have the leg go forward a bit. And with the lady, you have her going like this. So try to have a little bit of motion going here. Okay. And I need to figure out what to do with our other arms, so. I guess the poses from the previous image isn't too bad. Okay. Definitely gonna have to worry about these center arms though. Okay. I got the basic stuff done, and I gotta think about the environment too, since it's supposed to be a full painting. And I want to shape the environment in a way that kind of gives them a little more of a dynamic pose. So this specific area I want to be kind of like plain, like dirt. And and there's kind of this general ring of leaves around here. So kind of make it look like they're in a little bit of an opening in the forest during fall. By the way, this is supposed to be my autumn piece, so I want to have the main color be kind of like orange here. So I'm sure some of you guys already know, because I kind of mentioned it in some other streams, but I don't normally work with a lot of warm colors, so this is a bit out of my forte. However, I was like very proud of how Sunset, or it's not called Sunset, but I have the file name Sunset. It's actually August Eternal. Yeah, the one with the harpy, with the dove harpy guy. I was really proud of how that one came out, so I kind of decided I wanted to try something like that again. So yeah, so I'm gonna put a tree in this corner, and maybe a bush. So have the actual like forest area kind of peeking back in. And of course we're going to have to include some floating leaves at some point. But yeah, maybe okay. Not sure how wild this forest is going to look, but maybe maybe I can have some branches coming in from the corners up here. So kind of just pull these in. And of course keep these kind of simple and blurry, or at least I should try to do that, so it kind of to indicate that they're very close by. So, and of course we want to get some leaves in here, so try to put some marks in just to make sure I remember things properly. Okay. Also just maybe some indication for the hair. All right. Yeah, maybe can have some of the leaves. Okay, so yeah, it does look a little more interesting than this one, I think. At least it hopefully ends up that way. Okay. Oh, I need to stretch. Okay. I'm just gonna make another blue sky pose, just hopefully it's not too annoying. I'll have to just to make sure everyone knows I'm still here, alive, not dead. I mean, I am dead, but undead, as some might say. I gave up on skeleton. Gave up on the skeleton. Started. Okay, started a new painting. Or started my autumn painting. Okay. Hashtag whip. And then I'll drop the link again. Yeah, sometimes I feel a little bad about spamming so much, but okay. Okay, so sorry about that. Try to get OBS back up. Okay. But yeah, it's I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier to you guys or not, but I did kind of mess around with some I don't know if you guys specifically weren't here, but I did mention that I kind of messed around with some concepts earlier. I accidentally merged the new layer in. Wasn't supposed to do that. Or at least I tried. I'm not very good at brainstorming in general, so like I do try to brainstorm some new pieces sometimes, but I never like actually go through with it. Okay, this not sure how I feel about this arm. Okay, boop. Yeah, as I said before, these arms are going to be a little bit. Center arms are going to be a little bit stressful. So but yeah, right now I'm going to start building up these figures. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this is Galen when he was still a human, so he's my fairy OC, but he was originally human. But he accidentally fell in love with the Queen of the Fae, so and got kind of turned into like a 5-inch fairy. So okay, hold on, it's not looking good. Okay. Yeah, so I got this rib cage going on. Try to have the spinal cord down here. I don't want it to be tilted forward too much because it kind of looks like he's sticking his butt out. I don't know, it doesn't really feel like something you do. So it's kind of a shy guy. But yeah, so I guess some information about my character. Galen was actually a mortician in a small village, and he kind of kept to himself a lot because he used to study in the city, but he ended up he was kind of forced to get involved with some pretty unethical stuff back there. So they kind of screwed him up emotionally quite a bit, and he ended up going back to the village and just kind of trying to keep to himself, like kind of staying away from people, and but he kind of met this woman in the forest and kind of fell in love with her, but he didn't realize that she was kind of the queen of the forest. And try to marry her in secret, but then, yeah, he turned into a fairy. Okay. Okay, so... Sorry, I'm, like, trying to draw these legs. Got this leg kind of going forward. Okay, I feel like this one should probably be a little more prominent. Okay. And it feels a little bit off, but it's probably because a certain area isn't detailed enough, so... Oops. Okay, just hold on. Yeah, there's a reason why I don't normally like to sketch on stream. You're probably gonna see why. Honestly, you probably are seeing why. It's just very messy. Slow, messy. Okay. And, try to cubify these heads real quick. Alright. Probably need to flip the canvas pretty soon, but... Okay, so I'm gonna draw some balls at the sides of their torsos. Of course, that's some of you probably realize it's supposed to represent arms. And I'm gonna push this arm a bit further back. Of course, it's closer to us, but further back on our body. And just kind of give it a little more balance. And then Gallon's arms just kind of like hanging down here, I guess. Okay. So I'm just trying to get a cylinder in here. Kind of represent the one leg. Okay. Kind of. And I'm kind of drawing these rings around the legs to try to remind myself of the shape of them. Okay. Kind of indicate the groin area. Maybe and then the center torso, I'll try to represent that as a cylinder. So okay, and try to indicate the chest area right here. This is her back, so I'll try to indicate the scapula. And you know, just anything to avoid the arms right here. Okay. Okay. Okay, wondering if I should just move these down a little bit. So, putting these two balls right here. And that represents the wrist. Okay. And they should appear kind of even, so yeah. Maybe just wrap a cube around them. I probably should. Yeah, it's like trying to figure out which side the thumbs would be, but I realized that the thumbs would be opposite to each other, so. Like, I swear I practiced anatomy. Okay, so now I'm actually adding an angle to the arm line just to so it's a little more developed. I gotta remember to mark out the waist around here on the lady. Okay. Yeah, and I realized that her legs are technically going to be covered up by skirt, but good to have at least some idea for it. Okay. So zoom out. By the way, I will be dipping again for when the next break happens so I can get some more coffee. Okay. Yeah, I think now that I'm not doing the study or the sketch studies, I feel a little bit more confident in keeping and trying to keep streaming, and this arm is really bad. Oh god. Okay. Zoom out. Okay, this is probably a good time to flip the canvas. Alright. Yeah, I should probably... I don't want to indicate the other leg. But yeah, I should probably mark out some noticeable clothing, so... I think I want Galen to have a long coat. I just think it would look cool. Okay. Just have the skirt kind of conveniently block the legs. Galen's legs too. Okay. We mark this out. Put a motion line for the front. Because I realized that motion line was actually for the spine. Try to remember. Try to figure out how Galen's coat works again, so. Okay. I also just mark out this other hand. Maybe make her hand a little bit higher up to... Okay. So, try to remember the hair flow. Hold on. Okay. So... Sorry, I'm just still trying to figure out the coat. Yeah, I originally wasn't really planning for him to have a coat, but... I don't know. I just feel like the coat is kind of necessary. Okay. So it just kind of have a something coat-like kind of shape here. Okay. Okay, so... Alright. Oh my god, my back. Ugh. I'm gonna stretch right now. Okay. Sorry, it's just back pain right now. Okay, I think I should probably lower the opacity a bit with these. And just continue building the figures. So that is like the main focus. So kind of reestablish the cube a little bit, but trying to make it a little bit cleaner maybe. Okay. Yeah, so things should be basically the next stage is kind of cleaning things up, maybe indicating some more of the details. I also start forming the faces around this point, so yeah. Try to get these shoulders in. Okay. kind of marking out the deltoid real quick. Okay. So kind of put that in. And then I'll mark up the pectorals. So. Alright. Of course, the rib cage over here. And, also a fun fact, a little art tip, I guess. So, a way you can kind of try to keep your, figure, or your, figures, or gesture figures, I guess. Like, try to keep that line of motion, or feeling of motion inside your art. Generally, you can, have the lines kind of intersect into the figure, rather than just have a clean outline. Because that usually kind of indicates motion, or a sense of motion. I read that in one of my anatomy books, so. But yeah, I have these lines kind of intersect right here, so kind of continue, like this rib cage kind of continues to go down, and then kind of go back up the line, and then you can have your start indicating the center of the torso and the pelvis, and yeah. Just thought I'd share that little tip. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna put down the center line again. And I feel like these shoulders are maybe a little too wide for Galen. Okay, sorry, trying to shrink the liquify tool. Galen isn't supposed to be like that jacked or anything. I don't know, maybe he is like... Maybe he should be more muscular than I think. I'm not sure. Okay. But anyways, so. But yeah, so I kind of bring out this lower leg a bit because he's walking forward, and push back this back leg. Okay. Also, probably mark out his coat a bit more. Oops. And I try to be mindful of how it should look when it's going down. So. It's actually starting to look like fall around here. I don't know, usually it takes a little bit longer for that to happen, but I think I mentioned earlier that it actually started getting cold a lot earlier this September. I don't know, I feel like the heat kind of picked back up though, so yeah, technically it was 85 yesterday, though to be honest, it didn't really feel like it was 85, so take that as you will. Okay, so kind of marking the inside of the coat right here. Kind of mark out the rest of this leg. Not the best leg, but oh well. Oh well, I guess. Let's flip the canvas real quick. Yeah, so usually a fun fact, I try to take time away from my final sketch or finalish sketch when I start a piece, because I usually just need to come back to it with cleaner eyes. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to do that with this current piece, because like fresh eyes essentially. Okay, I'm gonna actually think I'll have put these little belt things around his waist here. Okay. Also just try to clean this up. Okay. And then indicate the hem down here. So yeah, I'm also starting to block in some stuff. I might work on the back. I might sketch out more of the background after I finish this stage. Also, the ad break will be coming in 5 minutes, so fair warning. Okay. And I'm just starting to put down the other arm real quick. Okay. Yeah, I also should be thinking about the collar right here, so let's put this down. Okay. Let's try to mark out the sleeves real quick. Okay. And just kind of putting down some wrinkles. Not really sure which way it should go. Okay. So, I also pushed his arm back again. Changed my mind about the putting it out. Yeah. Do think I want the hand to be still kind of stick out a little bit. Okay. Take a drink of the water. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to refill both of my fluids. So I tend to have water and coffee together. Okay. Oh, my back. Alright, so try to mark this out. Start working on the lady. Can't believe I never... I feel like she should have a name. I don't know. But... I mean, she's supposed to be like low-key a minor goddess, to be honest. So... Yeah, maybe I just had to look at my old notes. Like the idea for Gallon, or the original idea that I had for him, that part isn't necessarily new, but I did kind of like make his backstory at the last minute, I think, before Art Fight. This is one of the characters that I made right before the event, so... But yeah, sometimes I have character concepts I don't really finish, so... Okay. So just kind of indicate the booty a little bit, and then just kind of get some 2 lines right here. All right. Okay. We just kind of have this. Okay, maybe slim down her back a little bit. Okay. Okay, the ad break is in about 1 minute, so... I think when 30 seconds are left, I'll probably just run off. I feel like the amount of time I actually need usually is the worst to get stuff set up, or not necessarily set up, but like refill everything. But yeah, I have to do another thing outside of just refills. So, okay. Just gonna... Okay. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go into the break right now, so see you guys. Alright, I'm back, everyone. Sorry about that. I just needed to, as I said before, I needed to refill everything, so get more coffee, all the good stuff. But yeah, I should have that taken care of for the most part, and I'll try to go a little bit over 3 hours, so maybe aim for 3:15. Hopefully. I don't know, these yeah, my brain has definitely been getting fried by fried during my streams, so yeah, I feel a little bit bad about not yapping as much as I should, but hold on, let me turn the music. I forgot my headphones, so. But yeah, I'm just kind of definitely fried, mental, cooked, fried, steamed, all of that, just absolutely cooked. But yeah, it's just been how I've been feeling for the past couple of days, so you know, a part of me wants to like stay online and try to stick around for other people's streams and stuff, but at the same time I kind of realized I need to like go outside more, touch grass. It's just been kind of how I'm feeling. Yeah, I've been also feeling a little bit cooked by online stuff, to be honest. Just trying to grow and become like independent or something, but I feel like I kind of struggle with that kind of thing, honestly. Trying to get seen in general. I know a lot of mothers tend to feel that way as well, so I can't really complain too much about it. You know, I know I'm at a better place than a lot of others, so it's just still kind of a struggle, so but yeah, part of me is a little bit scared about getting punished for taking little breaks, so I don't really know what to do. But yeah, I just need to do something. But yeah, so anyways, I'm getting back on track. I am just starting to work a little more on these backgrounds. I forgot to block out the lady's shirt, but you know, it's a later thing. But maybe I should do some actual like proper blocking, so start working with start working with the tones rather than just these colors. These very autumny colors. So it's gonna be a orange and purple piece. I don't know, I always have to use purple as a complementary color. I know my name's Viridian, but it should probably be named Violet Ghost or Crydon Ghost. Diazine Ghost. Okay. But yeah, I like using purple as a complementary color. Just feel like it goes with a lot of stuff. Maybe it's because it's this is just a random guess, but maybe it's because it's like the complementary color to yellow. And we see things get kind of... Yeah, I guess saying it out loud, it kind of sounds a little nonsensical. I was just thinking that it's like the opposite color of the sunlight, or... Because sometimes sunlight kind of appears yellow. I don't know. I know it's technically white, so it's supposed to appear white, but yeah, sunlight kind of looks yellow to me. But yeah, it's probably a little bit nonsense now that I say it out loud. Okay. Just gonna block in these leaf piles, or the major leaf pile. Of course, it's not gonna, shouldn't make it look too hard of a difference, but maybe make the orange here a little more vibrant, so it doesn't seem like too extreme of a change. And maybe the area that's immediately under them should be a darker mid-tone. But yeah, I might actually switch to black and white for a little bit. So we'll see how it comes out. Okay. And maybe also try to block in more of these bush shapes. It's supposed to be some a bush here. Maybe some more leaves right here. Okay. Part of me wonders if I should have the saturated part be a little bit higher, so it kind of looks like it's being the face is being Galen's face is being framed a little bit better, but not entirely sure yet. But yeah, let's you know what? Let's go ahead and start working on treating it more like a. I got. I'm trying to say I want to make this bigger, so. Okay, let's merge the selected layers here. So now it's all just one actual layer. And I'm going to start working on this as a proper sketch. So I'm going to size up the canvas real quick. Actually, let's, I don't know, part of me doesn't want to make it like too extremely large, but I know I can get pretty big with these canvases. Okay, change the canvas size a bit, so I'm just going to squish it down. Let's go ahead and change the resolution. So that's usually what I do next, and I'm going to scale it to maybe a 150. Actually, maybe 160. Now let's go with 150. It's maybe a little too big if I make it that large. And maybe expand this image again. Just kind of fit it in. And I'll go back to change canvas size. So just gonna shrink it down on this end. Okay. Yep, and here we go. I'm gonna name this thumb 2, because there's another thumbnail. Oop. And almost got this one cut off, but I'll just name it thumb 1, so. Oops, okay. Yeah, let's just name it thumb 1. So I remember what it is. And orange. Okay. But yeah, we can start working on this stuff. So let's, oops. I should probably just hide the stuff under here real quick. And then, I'm gonna need to make the canvas a bit darker. So I'll make it like around 50%. Close to that anyway. Alright, so let's get on with it. We're gonna start blocking things out properly, so go ahead and get it dark mid-tone. So this is the value number is 38, so you know, close to what I probably would want. So I'm just gonna go around here then with I don't always start or like do my sketch process like this, but yeah, this time I decided to do it as is. Try to, but yeah, I'm gonna avoid blocking out this sketch. I also forgot that about Galen's coat, so I'm gonna make it a bit thicker at these sleeves. So, and go around the hand shape. Go around here. Okay. But yeah, I do want this inner circle to be kind of a little bit dark, but not super dark. So yeah, usually the dark, really dark colors should probably be used for our main figures right here. At least that's what I think. Okay. You know, I did try making a model of Human Gallon and V-Roy just because I kind of felt like it. But then kind of reminded me why I don't really enjoy V-Roy that much. So yeah, I didn't really go that far with it. I don't know, I feel like if I want to do more 3D models, I just want to use Blender for it. Yeah, I just feel so limited by V-Roy, so yeah. Okay. So, let's see. Sorry, I'm like a little bit concentrated. Or concentrating a wee bit. And I'm not actually sure what the local value is for orange. So, for those who don't know, local value is the inherent value to a certain color, so like dark blue or royal blue will have like a very, very dark local value. Like, and basically at its most saturated form, it'll appear like a very, very dark gray on a grayscale, so. And then colors like yellow or cyan will have actually some pretty light local values, so. Yeah. I don't know, part of me feels like I should check for the local value of orange, but yeah, I don't know about that. Mostly just using this stuff as a guide, so I don't think the actual like painting stuff. Yeah, I know for a fact that the actual painting won't happen until at least Friday. So, because it does take, I am kind of a little bit on the slower side, so. You know, I was like pumping out art pieces for a little while, but yeah, kind of had to slow down a bit. But you know what? Let's just give it a shot. So let's get this kind of very, very saturated orange real quick. Actually, I don't think I want it that saturated, but yeah, just gonna macaroni color, macaroni cheese, some Kraft mac and cheese. I don't think even Kraft mac and cheese is that bright, actually. Okay. But yeah, saturation layer. Okay. Yeah, so it's slightly lighter than the 50% on midtone, so. Okay. I know that red is kind of a darker midtone, but like still generally a actual midtone. Meanwhile, and I'm gonna keep my saturation layer because I know I'll be using that for later. But okay, let's just grab this color and delete the layer. Yep. I know that red has an actual local value that's more like towards the middle, but. But at the same time, I know that yellow has a very light local value, so I guess I should have been able to guess that it would be somewhere between those two. All right. Okay. But yeah, I do like orange leaves quite a bit. So I'm using orange today. Honestly, I know last year I was kind of vibing with a lot of the yellow trees I saw, but yeah, so I guess I could kind of describe it. Last year I kind of took a walk while fall was kind of in full swing, and I got to see quite a lot of beautiful leaves around my house, so I actually took some photos of some of the trees around me, so yeah. But there's a lot of golden leaves that I saw. And it was like during golden hour too, so a lot of all the light around me was like a golden color. It was super pretty. It's very much a vibe. But I guess thinking about that now, I did take a picture of a nice bright orange tree last year, so I should probably dig up that photo from my phone and maybe I can use that as a somewhat of a reference. But yeah, man, I love fall. I like cooler weather, but I also hate snow, so, you know, fall's the favorite season. But yeah, of course, a lot of it has to do with, you know, harvest season, so you get all these, like, yummy apples and cider donuts. Oh, you know, cider donuts are famously grown during the fall. Or harvested during the fall. Sorry, just gonna check that. I'm gonna make these tree branches a bit out of more of a darker gray. Okay. Hopefully I do get some proper details done for this drawing. I used to actually like paint out the actual faces, funnily enough, so fun fact, I guess I could say. At least like a year ago I did. I don't really know what changes about my art style, but sometimes I can really pump things out, and other times it's like a slow process. Okay. I'm just gonna indicate some shaded areas for these. Actually, I'll make these like a lot darker real quick. And I could add more forest details to these this very back area later on. Of course, don't want to get too crazy detailed, because it's like the very edge of the piece, but yeah. Okay. But yeah, as you guys know, I've been in a kick for some very detailed art lately. Very detailed, very dynamic. I know that lately I've been wanting to push my compositions more towards the edge. Done that with a couple of pieces. Like as I said before, the August piece, and then that one art piece of that like lady, or that Lamia lady. I'm not sure how many of you guys see that. That's of course that one had to be blocked by filter because of no shirt. But yeah, I was pretty proud of that piece, considering it only took me like 4 hours to do that one, so. Yeah, I don't normally do speed paintings, so yeah. Okay. Alright, so I'm just gonna kind of block in some of this lighter gray. Okay. And maybe kind of just adding some marks, because I do kind of want these two sections to kind of look like they're somewhat layering together, or getting a little bit closer. Maybe. We'll have to see. But yeah, so I think it's probably time to start blocking out the figures here a bit more. So let's go. Okay, so here's the brow line. I can always like go back and sharpen up the features later too. I'll probably need to do that. I always need to do it, so. Okay, just checking the time. So maybe about like 20 more minutes for the stream. Yeah, I usually try to avoid the the halfway point between the hour, just because that's when the ad breaks hit. So gotta make sure to get it done before then. And the face is already looking kind of shit. Hold on. Okay, I think his need to make his eye. Oh god, make his eyes a bit wider here. Okay. Yeah. Remember to flip the canvas too. Alright, so mark out the face. And of course mark out the top of the head too. It's gonna be a little bit of roundness around here. Okay. So that's the base. Let's kind of mark out the face here real quick. Make it very lightly colored because Gallon is pale. Okay. And mark these out. Okay. Alright. Actually, I'm going to make this, the lines here a bit darker so they kind of stick out more. Alright. Oh god. Sorry, like I zoomed out and it's like, oh shit. Oops. I think I need to thin this area out. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to work on this off stream. It's looking a little wonky already. I push the chin in a bit and thin out the face because it's downturned. Okay. Okay. Alright, so gonna get the neck in a bit, so. And kind of mark out this stuff, so move it around. It's also probably gonna be lightly colored. Maybe not as lightly colored, maybe I can have it look at maybe I can depict it as sort of a grayish, light grayish color. Okay. Alright. I'll mark these in. And of course I want to block out the hair at some point, so. Might need to pull this one in, or pull in the code a bit more. Yeah, I feel like that would help with the image a bit. We'll try to maybe do something similar to the skirt, maybe. I'm not sure about the skirt. Alright, so let's get back to the face real quick. I want to mark out the ends of the nose. Or the bridge, I should say. And I'm just going to mix the grays together for the eye sockets real quick. Alright. I'm kind of marking out the eyes. Alright. Just kind of probably round them out. Yeah, I feel like they should probably be rounded out a bit more. Actually, the nose should be a bit lower too. Look if I try to. Too big. Oh man. Just kind of try to thin out the face again. Yeah, it feels like his eyes aren't aligned properly, actually. Oh god. Okay. Just gonna blend it out. Like, screw these eyes, I'm gonna blend it out. I'll worry about them later, dang it. Okay. So kinda... maybe make the, this little bit a little less, severe. Okay. Alright. Yeah, mark out these, eye sockets again. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to work on the face afterwards. Okay, so... okay, just gonna lean back a bit. Actually, I think the skirt should be thicker down here. Not thicker, but this little section basically flowing out a bit more. Okay. Just kind of putting out these parts. Okay. Alright. But yeah, I kind of want to block out the hair, so just gotta figure it out for a second. Just try to establish a bit of a flow, so... I almost forgot that it's, he has bangs, so... Or he's it's one of those characters with his eyes covered, so... Yeah, that would make my life a little bit easier later on. Okay. Alright. So just trying to get this section looking alright. Should probably lower the hump down a bit. Okay. And it's super warped now, so great. Okay. One thing I struggle with a lot in downwards angles is the scalp. Because it kind of always feels like it looks a bit off when I try to depict it. Okay. I'm just gonna... and his hair should be tied back, so... let's see. Oh my god, what? Oh, it's the book. Oh no. Oh, my poor pages. Actually, it's not that damaged. Oh my god. What the hell? Sorry, there's damage to the binding on the back. Ugh. Right. It's not too much damage, but... yeah, it's like there's a hole between the actual cover and the binding area, so... oh man. That sucks. Okay. Okay, great. Yep, just my luck. I'm just gonna mark out his clothes right here. Because I forgot to develop the sleeve. Okay. So, should probably be more of a collar down here. Okay. Of course, I can work on it later too. I think he might have just gonna give him a neck bow. Okay. But yeah, I need to add a little more detail to the hair, so. not detail, but actually like, block it out, so. The general shape at least. I don't want to cover up too much of the actual face though, is the thing, so. Okay. But yeah, this may as well bury the top area here. Okay. Okay, yeah, it looks kind of weird. Yeah, his head shape is a little bit weird. I'm just gonna thin it down a little bit. Okay. Yeah, basically the challenge that I face is that the top of the cranium just doesn't seem to fit. Okay. But anyways, I'm just gonna take back this dark gray. Alright. So we do this. Just kind of mark out more of his coat. These little back things. Thingamabobs. Okay. Get some buttons here. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the details before I end the stream, because that's we're getting very close to the time that I set. Okay. Okay. Anyways, try to put this leg down. Mark out the details. All right. We got something very general, I think. You know what? Maybe I can block the eyes out. Just like a general shape, though, that's the thing. Yeah, try not to worry about the pupil. That's my main issue, I think. Okay. Alright, so fill this in. And fill this area in. Okay. And I'm just adding some like bigger or deeper shadows. So that's how I usually like to block out things a bit. I think the big shadows can get kind of important. Okay. All right, so sorry, stretch. Ugh. I gotta stretch a lot more. Okay, so I'm just gonna block and keep forgetting to like develop the shirt properly, so I'm just gonna kind of puff it out around this area. So okay, yeah, and I want some puffier sleeves too. I like puffy sleeves. So all right. All right, so puff it out a little bit. Okay. Actually, maybe make the actual like beginning of the sleeve puffy too. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm like getting a little bit quiet. Just kind of observing things. You know, maybe this isn't the worst place to stop at. Obviously, it could be better, but definitely like further along than I initially thought, so. Anyways, just gonna block out the head here, so. She's looking away from us, so we don't have to worry about too many facial details. Still wanna like get the shape decent looking. Alright, so kind of block out the cranium. And maybe I can just sorry, I forgot how I wanted to do the hair. Hold on. Nope, okay. Screw that, I guess. I forgot I hit the other one. Kinda like how our hair was flowing in the first thumbnail, so kinda wanted to check that, but I'm too lazy to actually bring it back up, so. Okay. Just a wee bit of a lazy butt. Okay. Wondering if I should give her a dark hair color or not. Okay. I think I'll block that out with this see-through pen right here, because I think it would be a little more useful. But yeah, let's fill in some of these colors, so it's not properly blocked out. But it would help to know that have a guess of what the actual values should be. So just kind of going over that. And I still haven't sketched out the hands, but you know, and how it goes here. And how it goes on the Viridian Ghost channel. Okay. But yeah, I'll have her shirt be a bit lighter. And I guess her skirt can be dark too. Okay. But yeah, I think this might be a place to stop for now, so. Yeah, I need to rest properly, so. As I said before, I haven't been in the best state lately, so. But yeah, let's go ahead and find someone to raid real quick. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming today, and I hope the rest of your day goes well. You're able to get some rest or yummy food or whatever you need to do. But yeah, thanks again for everyone who came. So, I know it's not the best stream in the world, but it is how it is sometimes. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to look at poor Target right now. Just show me where everyone is. Dang it. Trying to find another art streamer. Sorry, it seems like everyone's doing games. Uh-oh. I don't know, maybe I could look for someone new, or... I guess that if there's someone I'm following who I haven't, like, checked out in ages. Oh, did someone else start? Okay. Well, I'm just gonna check real quick. Nah, I think they just moved someone else up, but... Yeah, they're doing a comic art right now, and okay, they haven't actually started yet. Okay. Maybe not. Okay. Oh. Sorry. Sorry, I'm looking for... I'm trying to raid someone. Oh, and I think my brother came home, so... You know what, let's raid Pullet again, so... I kind of don't feel like hunting down anyone new, so... Kind of hoping to raid someone who I don't normally raid, but... Someone I actually kind of know, though, so... But yeah, let's go ahead and go after Pullet, because, But yeah, so again, thank you everybody. You know, I normally stream on 1 p.m. and on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I might be trying to stream on Wednesdays again, but that'll be later in the night, so maybe around 6, or might try to go a bit earlier, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that. But yeah, so thank you everyone who came here today, and You know what? Let's go ahead and raid. And should probably stop raiding. Wait. Okay. Trying to figure out what was going on. Forgot how to raid. Whoops. Okay.